All right, everybody, welcome back. We are set up and ready to go. We have some Final Fantasy V Worlds Collide going on here. We have two runners going in comms. I'm going to toss on over to them, and then we'll do a little bit of talking about the charity again after we get these runners off and going, because we were a little delayed and we want to give them their time. So thank you, everybody, and let's see a good racer. Go for it.
So I'm Fiery Blizzard. I'm the runner of this Final Fantasy V Career Day. We are actually going to emulate the run from the 4-job fiesta that started in last week, I believe. So we know what our 4 jobs are. They are Berserker, Bard, Hunter, and Geomancer. So it's going to be a fun time. With me, Fitz.
Yeah, I'm one free Fitz. I also run this game, not as fast as Fiery Blizzard does, but I'll be, here along the way to explain what's going on and just hang out and have a good time.
Yeah, so we know we got one donation incentive, and that was, of course, to do all the piano flexing, which makes sense. We have a bard in our party. Even though it is career day, it's a randomizer, so, playing all 8 pianos isn't going to give us a hero song or something like that, but we're still going to have a lot of fun with that. So, talking a little bit about the scene, obviously, we've got to game our character cards here. It's part of the marathon, of course. And we're going to get started, and we'll talk a little bit about how we're going to approach this. So, 3, 2, I don't know if we have a timer. Oh, that's the timer. All right.
We're on it. Ready? All right. In 3, 2, 1, go.
So this is the open world randomizer for Final Fantasy V. So, that means we can go pretty much anywhere at the very beginning. In this case, World 1. So that gives us access to the cast immediately if there's a large distance. Additionally, because there are 50 bosses in this game, we don't really want to play all of them. So there are 5 minutes per world. We're finding World 1, 5, and World 2, 5, and World 3. That are going to tell us where exactly we are. So we're going to try to collect those in some order, depending on where we're going to go. Like I said, we know what our team is. We're going to play to their strengths. So, I don't know. I like a Geomancer in a 4-job fiesta. Terrain is a undervalued thing.
Yeah, there's some really good ones, and then they just also, I like damage floor too, so that we don't have to worry about lava and whatnot later on.
Yeah, especially when you're going through X-Stuff's castle, or if we have to go to the trench or something, it's going to be really nice. We do not have a healer in this party, so Bard's going to be playing the role of a major support, as the Bard does. Bard is one of those jobs that are very, very broken. So there's our first hint. It directly says that we have the steamship key, which gets us where we would normally go into the steamship and then approach the fire crystal and go to the Karnak escape. And we know that's an Exodus castle close to. To help us out, we don't have to walk out everywhere, thankfully. There is an orb shard item that gets us right back into the world select screen. So we know we only have World 1 open here, so to get into World 2, we need the item known as type that you get from Timmy in vanilla. And then in World 2, we need the power bracelet, or the bracelet in anti-barrier to get up X-Stuff's castle. And then when we beat X-Stuff in his castle, we get access into World 3. And then we're going to need all 4 of the tablets that you normally get the in-game dungeon to then go through the entirety of the void and face Neo X-Stuff at the end of this screen. So we're just doing some initial looting. We're looking for a couple of items. Money is always nice too, but given that this is a 4-job seat, we know what type of items we want. So something like a Berserker, if we find a Rune Axe and a Gauntlet really or a Giant's Glove really early, that's nice. Or a Thornlet, because we can sort of do an underflow glitch. Super Nintendo has quite a few glitches in it that we're going to be trying to use.
What? No way.
No, right?
Now, I noticed you said you were new to randomizers, and I'm not sure that that's true, but, we got to get in here anyway.
Yeah, maybe I should have lied. Or maybe I should have told the truth. Maybe we'll go back in and also see what happens then, for those of you who have not told the truth before to that.
Ooh.
So there is a monster box in tools, so areas that have monsters in the box still have monsters in the box in the randomizer. So the Apollo's Harp is Bard's best weapon by no stretch of imagination. There we go. We got a little cutscene there getting kicked out of the beginner's house. Luckily, we don't want to hang in there anyways. So shops are completely random as well. They are scaled a little bit. But actually ignore most of these things. Again, as a 4-job seed, we are limited to what we can do. So all this magic, we don't have any magic.
That's true. Yeah, it is limiting, but it is nice in the sense that I think money is not as much of a concern compared to having all the jobs and having to buy a lot of different abilities and shops potentially. And we know what we're looking for. That harp will be big. Good early damage in World 1 as well, in addition to its extra properties of hurting the undead really bad. And dragons?
Yeah, that's going to be huge too. Unfortunately, of course, we are not able to use X-Fight, which is Ranger's ultimate ability, for an Apollo's Harp. It just doesn't work. And of course, because we donated for piano flexing, we got to get our customary lap dance and tool here.
Interesting. I've interpreted this as like a slam dance, because it's a raised stage, and they just like elbow drop you, you get a little beat up, and then you can go play the piano.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll buy that, but here we go. We get to start our piano adventure here with our bard. Of course, it's not the greatest yet, but give him, an hour or so, and he's going to be better than the vast majority.
Indeed.
So there's our first piano flex. You got to do it, Fitz.
Woo! Very nice.
Got 7 more to go.
The true goal.
We donated for all the piano flexes. There is an extra key item we need because there is that piano hidden in Mirage. And so that requires some Mirage radar as well. So we are just sort of opening up, trying to find more and more power. Just to go through the bosses as quickly as can. Unfortunately, no one can use the power staff. Otherwise, that would be quite trivial. So the key about Final Fantasy V is that most bosses are susceptible to various status effects. That really is what causes this game to be faster than you would think. It's just being able to use all that. So there's the charm.
That's very nice.
Use somebody. I have no healer, so we probably do want quite a few high potions.
Gotta have the camping gear. Crucial.
I don't know how much we've got in terms of power. We got the Apollo's Harp, so I think I can probably just go into Wind Shrine. So
The bosses are randomized here, which means we can have a little bit of fun. We never actually know if we can beat the Wind Shrine boss immediately. We always hope we can, because it's the weakest boss in the game in terms of HP. So HP values are maintained as if they were vanilla, so there's 250 HP here. We also got an Earth Bell.
That's nice.
Yeah. And of course, because we have the Berserker and a Hunter, a lot of people love to do Berserkers. You give a Berserker a bow with equipped bows and just let him go to town with a Yoichi bow or an Artemis bow. We're gonna try to recreate that.
Yeah, plus we get to put him in the back row, which is always nice.
Yes.
Some of our bosses like to punch really hard.
So Califasteri can definitely be a bit rude. Luckily, again, when something only has 250 HP, it's pretty easy to defeat.
Indeed, we'd rather see this one here than
Definitely
later on
late
in the game.
So one of the good things about the randomizer, it does teach you how much HP these bosses have. So one of the more recent updates, and it's not terribly recent, there's the anti-barrier, one of the things we need, is that the XP that you get at a spot is actually equal to the amount of HP that boss has. And so if you're paying a little bit of attention, you'll learn that pretty quickly.
Yeah, that is very nice. I noticed that the job points are more based on the actual boss that you're fighting, right? And do they still reward, like... Because you got 80 there, and that's a lot of job points for...
Yeah, and Go-Go will still give you a whole bunch as well. So we did get the anti-barrier, which is definitely one of our key items. We're going to continue just sort of rushing through the early game. We also got an Avis Killer for the Hunter, which is pretty good. But yeah, we're just trying to kill bosses as quickly as possible. Like I said, really the key item we're looking for is the Adamantite. That's what gets us in the World 2. Then we get to play more pianos. Although we've only played one so far. We'll visit the other towns pretty much after we get through the ship graveyard. I have not found a Phoenix Down.
Yeah, this is one of our undead bosses, so healing hurts, Phoenix down, insta-kill. But only 800 HP at this spot?
650, so I could have just
650,
attacked there
yeah.
too, especially with the Apollo Harp. But yeah, so if those of you who are not familiar with Final Fantasy V, it is what I would consider sort of the quintessential job system Final Fantasy. I don't think there's quite another Final Fantasy game that has done it quite as well. Of course, it sort of started with Final Fantasy III, and then 5 sort of improved on it. And of course, there's a whole event every year that is based off of 4 jobs. The 4 characters that you have 4 jobs. And of course, that's what we're playing here. So the 4-job fiesta again started in the last week, and it runs all the way through the end of August. You will let a bot choose what jobs your players get to play as, and you roll with it, try to beat Neo-X-Def, and then if you're brave enough, you also can defeat the 2 super bosses, Omega and Shinryu. Normally, if you see a bard in a job, you would be like, oh, Omega's free, because you can stop it with Love Song. Career Day does randomize the weaknesses of the 2 super bosses, so it's not guaranteed that Omega would be weak to stop. So maybe we'll give the robot a little bit of a pet and a little bit of a try, but it's not going to probably work out quite as well as we would like. But we might as well give it a chance.
Yeah, I know with Shinryu we can talk to the Moogle in the Moogle town and learn their status weakness and their elemental weakness, so maybe it'll be something good, but usually it's not.
Usually you get an opening with a quake and then you just die immediately and you're like, okay, moving on. It's kind of an annoying boss here.
Yeah, the gimmick for this one is we have to kill them both pretty quickly, otherwise they keep coming back. The HP should be split.
You know, I forgot I had a Berserker in my party. There we go. Much better to see this boss here, being that they have the split HP and you have to kill them both at once. We did just get an ability of the white magic. Unfortunately, nothing that we can use. But really what we're looking for, I would say, in terms of an endgame build, absolutely we're going to want Speed Song.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to want either Hero Song or Magic Song, or both. Just for Neo-X-Def, there is always, with a 4-job seed, there is always the question, unless you roll something like Samurai or Blue Mage or Chemist, how are you beating the very end of the game? Mm-hmm. Neo-X-Def with the wrong jobs or the poor abilities can take you a very long time, and we're talking upwards of 30 minutes. So we're going to really hope that's not the case for this seed.
Yeah, I've had a few of those with some of the bad combinations. Like, it's definitely one of those bosses. It's predictable, but with the 4 jobs, we don't have often all the tools that we would have in a regular run to be able to kind of easily shut the different pieces down. Like, we don't have access to break, really, which is one of the big ones. Or paralysis.
Yeah, no, we're gonna hope that we find a killer bow for our hunter at some point, or a Doomax for our berserker. And there's the bracelet. So we already have access to World 3 whenever we get into World 2. Of course, I don't think I would take this team right now as is up X-Def's castle. That might go a little bit poorly.
They might have a time. We needed some more levels at least.
Yeah, let's go get some more levels. We're going to skip ahead a little bit in the plot. We're actually going to go up the catapult here. So where Crayclaw is in vanilla, 2,000 HP, so a little bit more than what we've been dealing with. But the Apollo's Harp does give us quite a bit of power. And terrain is, like I said, very underutilized, I feel like. If you watched the run, which happened last week, you saw a lot of use of terrain once they finally got through Liquid Flame. In the catapult, it will run Wind Slash. So a very powerful wind elemental. So there are a couple bosses you're really hoping not to run into here. But otherwise, this should be very doable.
Do we got time for a couple quick donations here?
Absolutely.
Thank you. All right, we have 2 consecutive $25 donations from M2. First one, can I bet on myself, right? I think there is no rule against that, especially when it's to a good cause like this. $10. Actually feeling good about Feeling good after meeting everybody, put this toward Claire doing B-side tonight in Resident Evil 2. And the second donation, also, put this toward Crystallis tomorrow, $10 on Oops All Mimics, $10 on Charged Shot Only, and $5 on the sword everyone wants to see, Wind. Thank you very much, M2. And we also have one more donation from Dark Moon, $40 donation. Here's the 40 for the number of times I died in Super Mario World. Don't tell me how many times I actually died. Put this toward Bloodstained Max Random. Thank you, Dark Moon.
Now, you mentioned bosses that we didn't want to see.
Yeah, this is we don't have love songs, so this isn't going to work out, is it? I get to figure out what my reset button is for this computer. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, Omniscient is a very hard block in this party. I'd have to kill off the Berserker, and without Love Song, there's just no way for me to do enough damage to not trigger the reset. So we're just going to leave. Thank you for the Warp Shard. We're going to ignore that. We're going to ignore my favorite play for routing, and hope we never have to go back there. But as we go, also, the going rate, I guess, was probably, what, a quarter per death for that Dark Moon donation?
A quarter per death.
It was either a nickel or a dime, I think, actually, so quarter might be generous still.
I don't think Fiery Blizzard is going to be pushing those sort of numbers, but, you know.
You never know. We can count that as a death, right? Having to reset over Omni. I'd be okay with that. So we're slowly learning the piano. We got our second piano flex. Got 6 more.
Flex hope.
So you mentioned routing, and certainly since we know how much HP the different spots are, like one approach is you just kind of go through from easy to hard. But if we're trying to go fast, I think there's a lot of what's the hardest boss that I think I could reasonably get through, accumulate that power, and then go smash through the easy stuff kind of after the fact. And Catapult is a very fast sort of dungeon to get to. A pretty high pile of experience in the beginning. Unfortunately, yeah, that Omni, without like a mage masher and sitting for a while, hoping it would work.
And we do have a wall ring, so we could technically do those strats, but yeah, that would take a very long time and we'd have to get lucky. So, in full disclosure, we did vet a couple of seeds for this, and we had to make sure that Omni was not at the very end of the void. Unlike Vanilla, and there's our Thornwood. Well, we have a Giant's Club anyways, but I'll grab that just in case we have to get rid of Galuf. So, if Omni is in the void anywhere, part of his script is Cure 3, which is essentially the Cure 4 of, from Final Fantasy 1, and it will fully heal Omniscient, and with Omniscient speed at the very end of the game, you essentially would not be able to do enough mute procs to avoid the full heal. So it would kind of be a very hard lock in this party. Silver Harp. It's a little movement check here as I'm getting more and more used to the controller and the setup. But yeah, there is a little bit, I know a lot of, some people are very put off with how fast you can move in Career Day. I like it. It does take a while to get used to. But I do enjoy the movement speed.
Yeah, same. Definitely a lot of bonking, a lot of learning kind of when to pull off of the speed for a tight turn, but I do like running around pretty fast as well.
Yeah, if you do play Career Day, you do have to get used to holding the B button. Because you are going to be holding that every time you do movement in the overworld. So we're going to grab another hint here. Whilst Kingdom is Path to the Void, I believe that's where we're going.
That is where we are going.
It is where we are, technically, too. So that's the Shiva spot. Very likely that's going to be our Adamantite, but maybe it's going to be a path to a tablet. So I actually don't know if we started with 1 tablet or 0 tablets this seed. I didn't actually look that closely to the flag string. But if it's a tablet, that's great. That gets us 1 step closer to going through the void. If it's the Adamantite, we then get to open up all world 2. But yeah, to your point earlier, When we go for harder spots or higher HP spots, we get more EXP, which is going to make the lower or the easier spots even faster. So there's definitely validity in sort of jumping ahead. Also, things are weighted in this game, so all the treasures are weighted, all the shops are weighted in terms of where they are based on vanilla. So the later, so like World 2 will have better items than World 1, World 3 will have better items than World 1 or World 2 in general. So Carbuncle here, we only have 1500 HP. We don't have a killer bow, but he can definitely kill me. Where are those Phoenix Downs? So Carbuncle, in general, he'll do 3 attacks, and we're kind of actually a little bit in a bad position here because we have that Berserker. So after 3 attacks, Carbuncle will be in a weakened state and much easier to hit, can be susceptible to a bunch of instant kills, but we'll also cast Cure 2 at the end of that. So it's a little bit of a waiting game here. Not a big fan of using Gust because he can get some counters. Gotta go with a better weapon.
Yeah, now we see the damage numbers much higher because they've dropped their defense.
Oh no, not our Berserker. What helps that we actually get to keep our Hunter here too. So this Carbuncle down, we know this is going to be some requirement to beat the game here. Okay. There's the Adamantite, that gets us into World 2. So we already have World 3 access. That's a bit scary.
I know, because we need this to be able to beat a couple of things along the way. There's definitely a couple of beefy bosses on the other side of that Adamantite relative to a lot of what's in World 1, and then Excess themselves is no slouch.
No, we would not be able to beat it right now. So, whoops, that was not meant to be. So we're going to do a little bit more shopping here. See if we can find something worthwhile. Kaiser Knuckle isn't bad. For anyone who's played Final Fantasy V before, they know the ultimate accessory is the running shoes. Cost 50 grand at a shop, but if you find them in a shop, it's great. Haste is absolutely broken in this game. There's a hero song. Yes. All right. So that's one of the best songs in the game. I got to go to the pub. Celebrate that hero song with a drink and another piano medley here.
We're getting better. It's still kind of rough.
Yeah, I don't know if I improved this much when I picked up piano the first time. In terms of this quickly, certainly not.
Flex hype.
Got another hint here too. So we're gonna go ahead and talk to this. Submarine keys in World 2. That's actually really nice. The submarine key is sort of the one fork item in this game. It opens up so many checks that if something hints, I don't know why I'm doing this. It opens up so many checks that when you get a hint for a location saying, oh, the submarine key is important, you're just kind of like, well, that doesn't really tell me anything.
Yeah, because we could take the sub to the barrier tower, we needed to get to the trench, and we also needed to get to the waterfall, and I always forget about this one, the underwater tower in World 3.
So we're going to go ahead and do our favorite Berserker here. We're going to get 2 of them on, why not? That looks fine to me. No one needs control of their characters, right? This isn't going to be something terrible. We've already seen Omni.
That's true.
We still need some better bows. Avis Killer is nice, but it's still quite outclassed by the 2 better bows in the game. Gale Bow is interesting because it can proc X-Fight. Speaking, there's our resident Blue Mage. Mm-hmm. Can't do my favorite stat. But, yeah, it wasn't going to work, was it? So, we can get stalactites here, which would be nice. Otherwise, we're going to let, Ferris do their job. Oh. Well, I mean, it wouldn't have worked if it hit Apocalypse anyways. Oh, someone's level 4 quarter. It's really just a job for the Berserker.
Yeah, one more.
Mainly because my terrain is only hitting Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, so 2400 HP, so not too bad. There are much worse bosses. My favorite strat, of course, with Apocalypse, right? Blue Mage, the ultimate Blue Mage there, loves to show off that he can do any spell better than you can. So if you use Exploder or Self-Destruct on a fight with Apocalypse, he will then demonstrate that, yes, he knows how to use that spell and instantly defeat himself.
I saw we got the Moogle suit there.
It's tempting to go into World 2, isn't it?
There's a lot of stuff for us there, and potentially some of those better bows.
Yeah, I eventually I'm going to want some of those. We're going to do a little bit of a go around of World 1 in these meteors, though, just to get us a little bit more levels. Of course, this is, the first area in the game. As soon as you open the game, this is where you are. You got this Phoenix down here that's now a copper armor. And we got the Adamantite, which is not the beginning of the game. We got a resident Wolves and Sergeant, so I wasn't planning on seeing Deathclaw today, but maybe. Normally we joke around whether or not to save or kill the Wolves. There's our Stalactite, thank you. I think we're going to be beholden to RNG here.
Mm-hmm. It depends on what the Berserkers want to do.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is no audio for this fight. It's very interesting. It's like Tritalk in FF6. There's our X fight. So I think this is just going to kill everything. There we
Nice.
go. The rest of the game will have music. And Titan is in the wrong meteor. He just came from there. So you can see the second sparkle in the center of the screen. That's for World 2. We still also have to go to Crescent. So normally going to Catapult would then lead me to Crescent, which would lead me to the purple Chocobo. Got some Mambo de Chocobo, and then, of course, the piano there as well. So we still have to do that. We still have to go to Jakol. We'll do that before we go into World 2.
Yeah, knocking out these meteors, helping us get ready for World 2. There is the Bow Castle spot, which is a pretty low hit point spot, but from there it just starts increasing pretty quickly. Like the underground is 5k, but then we should probably have some power by then, and so.
Yeah, after that would be the Kiryu Valley, which has 12,500 HP. Speaking of Val Castle, this is the boss from Val Castle, Abductor. It's going to go down quite quickly here. But yeah, we didn't really talk about, how bosses are placed. Obviously, they're placed randomly, but the scaling isn't capped. So bosses are scaled based on their location, so each boss has its own stat table, and where it is in location determines what the stats are going to be. So it's not like Final Fantasy IV where you get the stats at the spot. It's not like Final Fantasy VI where it's scaled over to what you actually have in terms of characters or espers or dragons or what have you. But here's some Mambo de Chocobo, of course. Huh. Not going to take him on a flight though, but we obviously have to do that. We got to go into Crescent here. Got another piano. It's our 4th piano. Haven't forgotten any yet.
Getting a little more confident.
Got some hand exercises, right? One more piano flex.
Flex hype.
Talk to the bard there. So you do actually get another reward for playing 7 pianos and 8 pianos. That is hold true in Career Day as well. Like I said, we already have the hero song, so we got one of the things that we really want. We're looking for speed songs still too. I think I have all this. So shops are not all unique as well. They're shared in vanilla. They're also shared in Career Day, so I don't have to check every shop in every world. Various things are just carried over, thankfully. Otherwise, this might get a little bit more tedious.
That's true. I know some of them that are shared, but I always like forget during a race and will end up checking some repeat shops.
There we go. We got all the pianos in World 1, and I have never improved this quickly in anything.
I know, we're playing a little tune now. We don't
little
need
bit.
exercises anymore.
Flex, hi. Do we got time for a little bit of an update here for some upcoming incentive possibilities, shenanigans we have going on?
Absolutely.
All right, so a little bit of heads up for everybody. Donation incentives have been met for an upcoming run, but there's some talk behind the scenes here. One Final Fantasy VI member is offering money per Umaro kept in the party, and another is offering $25 per go-go, and another $25 per go-go kept at the end. Same goes for Umaru, so these parties might get very interesting. If you guys want to see some pain, feel free to, open your wallets and be generously donating to the Liam Foundation.
Do you want to give the Moogles a Go-Go, Yamaru, and Strago star?
Like, they probably should, and then, because the thing is, with the Yeti and Go-Go, you don't have to equip espers, so it's really a way to go fast. It's one less input in battle, and...
Absolutely.
That is some sound logic right there.
I like it.
We're always trying to save the frames.
We're going to get any good items here? We'll grab that just to keep track of our levels.
Yeah, Vitality Song it casts regen, which is not, it's okay, but we have no healers, so. But really, as Fiery Blizzard mentioned, in combination with Hero Song, we can use like the regen ticks to know how high a level we've gotten, and therefore when to stop our bard from singing and start hitting, or, well, I guess the Berserkers are just going to be hitting the whole time anyway.
Yeah. So desert areas have no key items of value. So anyone who's looking for us to go to the Pyramid Moor or fight a sand or whatever's at the Sandworm Bait is going to be disappointed. We're not going to head there. But we did get a killer bow, which is very nice. One of our instant death weapons. Of course, it only procs 12.5% of the time, but that's still more than 0.
Yes. Will it be the 12.5% we want it to? Depends on the runner.
We'll bring it on. We'll bring it in for like the triplets fight or something. I'm sure it'll proc plenty there.
Final Fantasy 1 runners know all about the 12.5% white mage chance in slot 3.
Alright, so we actually picked up two really important songs there in both the Love Song and the Requiem song. So Requiem does damage to undeads. Anyone who's played Bard knows that pretty well going up Hiryu Valley, because this is where you get the Requiem song. Also for the Pyramid Moor. And the Love Song casts Stop. So we can actually go and fight that Omni now if we wanted to. Thanks for the hint.
That's a hilarious. You could only get that hint by having the adamantine.
Yeah, the classic World 1 lock hint is the adamantite is somewhere in World 1. Happens basically every time you play a World 1 seed. So I expect that to show up somewhere too. As you mentioned, we're gonna go fight the Battle Castle boss of the Abductor fight. Not sure what can give me trouble here. Berserker is a very strong build mid-game for sure. We got our first Greg sighting.
All right.
One of the best songs in Final Fantasy. Battle on the Big Bridge. We're a little bit away from it. If we're lucky, yeah, that should kill before Enkidu comes. So no Enkidu sighting. There's one of our 4 Greg fights down. A little bit of dance party there too. Maybe I'll give the Big Bridge key. We just hear this right over again. Nope. Just something for a blue mage that we don't have. I'll go this way. Why not? I've been playing too much Fiesta that I'm just like, I want to grab these chests. They're probably not worth it, but I'm going to grab them anyways. So the shops in Battle Castle are exactly the same as the one we just found in Kelb. So I can just ignore all the shopkeepers, which is nice. We gotta go back here because there is another hint from the NPC. Let's see. North Mountain has the bracelet. Thank you. I think I know that. I mean, there's a good chance a lot of people like to not... Ooh. I think I'm gonna keep the killer bow on, though. So Dumax definitely is a useful item as well, but we have killer bows. Where were we?
We had a question in chat, so wait. Someone joined in with a, if you do go-go in your party, an incentive as well. Someone want to maybe explain that? Because I think that's what they're trying to get at.
Yeah, I think what is going on is an attempt to incentivize the racers in the upcoming Worlds Collide to keep that character in the party in order to get more donations. And I would say the higher the pot for that, they're gonna do it. I mean, regardless, I'm gonna say it, but like, and it will definitely show off, the power of. We'll see. Oh, very nice.
Glad I reset over that wind spear.
Maybe we'll run into the mimic here as well at some point, because we do have a go-go in this as well. They're a boss, and sometimes we love to see them in a hard
Not
spot,
at this party.
but yeah, not with berserkers, because if we decide to fight them, they are incredibly powerful.
They are much more powerful in Final Fantasy V than they are in Final Fantasy VI. So, we have another hint and another piano and more here. So, unlike in Vanilla where you have to be in World 3 to get the Brave Blade or the Chicken Knife, libraries have no key items of value, so no library today. We are available to do that in World 2, but we do have to only choose one of those. That's why I had to reset. And it was worth it.
Flex high.
Flex. I think we're gonna go right into another piano.
This is a pretty fast 7 pianos here.
Yeah, the question is, where is that Mirage Radar? We'll find out. It's really easy just to look through the shop and be like, yep, those are all things I can't use. You know what? Fine. So softs are nice. There is a boss here at Show that is very, very rude. Trench page in World 3. Okay, we know the sub-keys in World 2. Here's our 7th piano. The skill improvement's insane. We've almost mastered it.
Almost.
One more
Not
piano
quite.
flex. Now we're going to head into Sealed Castle or Kuza Castle or Kuzar Castle. This is where I'm going to find out how many tablets we actually have.
That's true. Yeah, we can trade in tablets for some of these items. They're not the vanilla items, but they do tend to be, especially if we have a couple early tablets. A lot of times there's some stuff in here that's better than what we found out in the world.
Yeah.
I think when we're not playing 4 jobs, this is like even more incentivized.
Oh, 100%.
Because we can find jobs here, or powerful job abilities.
We'll take an air knife. Air knives are great because our end game is going to be terrain, and that's gonna. Yes.
There we go.
All right, so we're about to see a berserker get a lot more powerful. We're also gonna grab a second air knife. Why not? All right, did we start with 1 tablet or 0 tablets?
Yeah,
Find
so
out.
For every tablet, we can cash in for 3. It looks like we got 2.
Yep.
And we can have, wow,
Huh, I didn't expect 2 root axes. Okay.
more underflowing.
Except we do know where thornlets are. We
That's
do
true.
need more giant gauntlets.
We
so.
do need another one of those. So yeah, we mentioned it a little bit. Berserker as a job has very low magic. Galoof as a character has lower magic than everyone else. And so if we equip the Rune Axe, which uses our magic stat to do damage, and we get our magic stat below 0, we underflow to make it very high and therefore do a ton of damage.
Yeah, so the 2 items we're looking for are Giant's Gloves and Thornlets. We found Thornlets in the shop, and we did find a Giant's Glove. So technically, we would be able to get 2 of them in here. So first thing we actually need to do is put Galoof back on Berserker and give him nothing. So, actually, do we have... It was a Gauntlet we had, not a Giant's Glove. Oh, no.
No, we do.
Okay. Empty, please.
So yeah, particular pieces of equipment lower our magic. The Thornlet being one of them. The Giant's Glove being one of them.
I think I have that set up. I have too many Berserkers. Unfortunate.
I was wondering what that like. Pachoo! I was like, I've never heard that one before.
We're gonna apparently double up on aim. That doesn't do anything, but sure. Sure. Yeah, that works. I could put a Thornlet on and running shoes. That actually no. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's have a really, I would say fast Berserker, but there's no real such thing. Either way. And power is probably the best you have. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we're gonna see some pretty large numbers coming from Galoof. I don't think we have anything that increased our magic in there. So yeah, Galoof's magic right now is essentially max. It's as if we spent 5 minutes singing magic song.
Which is pretty incredible. Yeah, it turns out if you get bad enough at magic, you get really good at it.
That does not apply to Magic the Gathering, I don't believe. So those of you who are interested in that, I don't think that's the way that works. Otherwise it wouldn't be nearly as expensive. Speak. Man. Well, we're gonna see what happens when a Berserker meets a Mimic. Probably not good things.
Yeah. So Gogo is instructing us to basically do nothing, because that's what they're about to do. To learn how to be a mimic. And Galoof is gonna say, I'm too angry to hear you, and swing away. And Gogo's mad.
Apparently didn't get the point here.
And is gonna throw down.
I want to see how many meteors come out.
And who it hits. Oh!
Barks is still alive, but we can see a second meteor. Let's see if we can, with Berserker speed, I kind of doubt this works. Yeah, that's a lot of damage coming on that Berserker, isn't it? I think they're both very, very... Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, double. Here we go. This is why we don't mess with Gogo in career day. 3?
3.
He just wants to make sure.
Just throwing those flaming meatballs into the sky. Yeah, that's kind of the other one that is a wall with a Berserker that...
So, what we're going to do is actually turn on encounters real fast. And we're going to kill a Berserker. Oh, not every step is on. So normally every step encounters are on. We guess we didn't generate it that way. Oh yeah, because it's 4-job preset.
Do we have time for a little bit of an update here?
Yeah.
So earlier, Classic Gamer got the option to choose something for a donation that was given, and they've chosen $30 toward tomorrow's required Warmech. So that is really great. Always love to see that.
We're actually gonna skip ahead a little bit. We'll go Moogle. We'll go back for that Go-Go when I can kill the Berserker during a boss.
Mm-hmm.
We got 7 treasures here. Sage of Staff, absolutely useless.
We gotta impersonate a Moogle and then go take all their stuff. Ooh.
Break their hearts.
We really have like the full choice of like Berserker weapons at this point. Cause I saw the Thor's hammer, which we can back row with that as well, but
I don't really have a reason to go into World 3 right now, so let's just not. We'll call off Berserker in one of these fights. Because, yeah, that go-go spot is really lucrative. We just need to actually be able to not die, which is really weird to say. But yeah, I guarantee you when Go-Go is in the next seed for Worlds Collide, Go-Go is not going to do nearly that amount of damage. Ever.
Yeah, we would have to see... no, because even X-Media, their, like, Desperation attack doesn't actually do what we just saw.
No, it could be an Octo VK and it'd still do less damage. I mean, I've seen double Meteor before. I don't think I'd seen triple Meteor before that point. So very angry at us, very angry at the underflowed Berserker. Gogo's just confused because it's like, wait, I don't know who Galoof is.
And why is he so angry and immediately?
So much anger. So yeah, we're gonna go for Hiryu Valley. You know, sort of a mid World 2 spot. 12,500 or 12,500. Normally you kill a plant here. The plant is actually human. Don't think about it too hard.
I did not. So I've played this randomizer quite a bit. I haven't finished a vanilla playthrough yet. That's funny. I never would have guessed that.
Yeah, if you had like the Man-Eater or something like that, it's great against Hiryu plant. Odin, which is probably still only going to be doing, I got to imagine, Reaper Sword here and not something more disastrous, but we'll see. We still don't have Speed Song. I would like to get Speed Song. I would really like to get Speed Song at some point.
Yeah, more turns is good. More turns faster. Speed increases bow damage as well.
Yeah, I mean, Speed Saw, the Neo X stuff fight gets a little bit rougher without Speed Song. Mainly because the number of characters that can survive an Almagest is Berserker and Hunter.
Yeah.
We did pick up the Aegis Shield, which is really nice. It's going to actually be used for a pretty important glitch at the very end of the game to carry on those immunities from the Aegis Shield. The Hiryu Call from where we would get the Hiryu Call in vanilla, essentially. So we're just going to follow the story. You know, we sort of healed up Hiryu, and we're going to go invade a fleet here. We do not need to save, or we don't need to heal or anything, because we do get a free heal on the boat.
We're just gonna go take a nap on this boat. Nothing's gonna happen. Everything's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna go take this nap to really good music as well. So, a little bit of nap. It's gonna get interrupted a little bit. Actually, you don't even take that nap in vanilla, I don't think.
Ah!
And of course, instead of the big bridge, now we're on a big boat.
The battle of the big boat.
Talk to Ziza.
Ah, the slow goblins.
Okay, you can see the damage that Galoof is doing now versus before. And that's just the power of underflowing. Sure. Fortunately, it gets interrupted by Soul Cannon. So 18,000 HP here. Luckily not in its vanilla location where the wind weakness doesn't really help. Or, sorry, the wind immunity. But this is very much the Berserker show.
Yeah. Especially as we would think, all these waves of water.
In fact,
That's really gonna muck up this machine.
it's so much the Berserker song, or show, that I'm just gonna put my controller down.
Yeah, it's time for singing, and see, this is what this is why Amaro is great.
Yeah.
Like, We have basically 2 of them in the party.
Normally I'd have like a water bottle near me, I'd be drinking water during this part, and then I'd have to hold A, and then I'd kind of just lose a few seconds on that end. There's the submarine key. So,
Okay.
you know what? We're going to continue following the story.
Yeah, we have to disable the barrier.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the anti-barrier and we do have the bracelet, but let's just continue on. So, obviously, after Ziza fleet, we would go to the bottom of the ship and go to Barrier Tower. So Barrier Tower is just right here. It's convenient that the submarine key and the sub was just sort of waiting there. I don't know why we didn't see it before. Kind of seemed a bit silly.
We were just in a rush. We hadn't had our nap, and so we were tired.
So, one thing I hadn't commented on, we do have that Thornlet on, just so I can put running shoes on Galoof. That does inflict HP sap. Flame Shield is also very nice. So there are 2 monsters in the box here. They do have the same chance of a red dragon versus 2 yellow dragons. The red dragon's going to be nicer. But red dragon is undead, so we can use Requiem Song, which does a fair amount of damage.
That's right, if you see some undead and you play the right song at them, you'll be fine.
And then you just have Galoof just... Axes are terrible accuracy. The Mirage Vest is also a very nice piece of armor. So, Image, I believe in basically every Final Fantasy game, is incredibly broken. Think of Ruse in Final Fantasy 1, the Image status in Final Fantasy 4 or 6. There is no difference here. Not being able to be hit by physical attacks is really nice. Unfortunately, unlike Final Fantasy 6, your image only does last a single hit. But the Mirage Vest in the Super Nintendo version is a little bit broken.
Mm-hmm. So if we have it on and we lose the status and we go into our item menu and switch what's in our hands, somehow that reactivates the image on the vest. So we can pretty much always keep it up even when we lose it, which is great for some of the punchier parts of the final fight. Or who else kind of punches hard?
Minnow. Who I feel like we just spoke into existence.
Yeah, I shouldn't have, but
it's fine. So we'll put the I don't know who we're gonna put this. Everyone's kind of... So, can't use the Mirage Vest there. You're currently berserked. Eventually you're going to learn X-Fight, but I'll just give that to you now. So, Geomancers and Bards can't actually wear the Mirage Vest. But yeah, it doesn't even have to be changing hands, it's literally changing any item in the item menu.
wow.
This also has a negative effect if you're using, say, Magic Sword, and you do that, you reset Magic Sword.
I have learned that the hard way, yes.
So here's our, favorite human of the game. Here you plant.
Now, plants are weak to axes, it seems.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I think this will show off a little bit. Since we don't get a target, there are certain multi-part bosses. Oh, I just thought of one, but I'm not going to say it out loud. And Neo X Death has a couple of extra, decoy targets.
Yeah.
That sap away a little bit of the power of both X-Fight and Berserking.
Yeah, I mean, I can give it away. The end strat of this seed, and you saw it if you watched the run earlier. It's buff up and then use terrain for Neo X stuff. In reality, the Berserker is going to be killed before I enter the X-Death fight, the Tree X-Death fight, because I need the time to buff, and if you're getting Holied and Meteoed out of existence, that's not time to buff.
Ooh. Is Sonic Boom,
Yeah,
percent HP attack?
It is,
Okay.
it's quarter. So I got 2 more of these plants to deal with. They'll be pretty done shortly here. I still haven't killed up my Berserker.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
curious
We were
if I
supposed to be
can
doing that.
if I can get enough levels to just, kill Go-Go outright here.
Probably. Especially, well, yeah, because we can't just hero song our levels up and wait.
And we might as well just go into XF's castle here. There is a free heal, so I do like to route the free heals as much as possible. We also, because we have a Geomancer in our party and it is mastered, we do get the ability to, or damage floor, which means that we do not get hit by damage tiles, which is nice. You can also see, in general, when you're going through a 4-job Fiesta in the Super Nintendo version, you're probably beating XDef in his castle around level 25-ish. So we're still a couple levels ahead of what we would be in vanilla. And there's another Greg, not Greg 1, it's a different Greg than what would normally be here. But this Greg is not going to last for very long. So it's 11,500 rather than the 1,200 or so HP that you have to fight in vanilla. It just gets the full HP spot. If we get enough turns, we will kill Gilgamesh 4 outright. If we don't, there is a chance we'll be seeing more Gilgamesh in our game, depending on where Necrophobe is. So...
Greg, he's right there. Use your eyes. Who's talking?
I don't even know who Kara is. Man,
Wow.
Lena. I mean, Lena hasn't died the prerequisite amount of times yet,
I was
so-
actually going to bring that up as well. I was like, surprisingly.
Well, you know what the problem is, right? I forgot to do something very critical in the beginning of the seed.
There we go.
There's a Mirage Raider, so that's our 8th piano. We will be flexing as much as possible.
We are going to master piano go mode as soon as we get through here. And we got 2 tablets as well.
Yeah, so we got 2 more. We have access now to 2 more hints, so that's important. What do we got here? I feel like I was going to forget something. Whatever, we're going to continue on. Got more chests. I don't even know what we're looking... I mean, if Speed Song just wants to show up, that would be great. I think at that point I'd probably just be able to not loot.
It's always a question of playing randomizers fast is that point of like, what am I looking for anymore? Like, what could I find in a chest that I would actually care about? We take one of those big bows that we're looking for, an Artemis or a Yoshi, but
Yeah, we got 3 of them,
we
so...
could probably buy one of those and...
Yeah, I think I got 3 of them in my inventory now.
Ah, okay. Oops. This room is tough, especially...
We're good. This is gonna be our speed song, I know it. Just a little bit of lag. We'll get to see all the encounters here. There is a way in Career Day to randomize the drops of enemies, which is really an interesting type of seed. Especially when you accidentally activate the switches and it turns out that they drop running shoes. Then you just kind of sit here and like, I meant to do that. Clearly. I guess the other thing we're looking for is the actual chicken knife. It's not required by any means, but Career Day does set the Brave Blade and the chicken knife to maximum power immediately, so you don't have to grind 250 runaways, which is nice.
We got time for a quick little donation update?
Go ahead.
So, came in after the fact, but we had a $40 donation from Gungati to name the party here. Bart's would be Sid Sucks for $10. Lena would be Sid Sucks for $10. And Faris would be Sid Sucks for $10. And Goluf would be Sid Sucks for $10. So,
unfortunately, I can't rename it after I generate the seed.
Thank you for your kind donation.
I'm guessing that was...
Just imagine they're all there. You're more than welcome to apply that somewhere else as well.
But Sid does suck.
Maybe to Go-Go's and Umarus.
Oh, we got love song.
The sentiment to share.
Well, I mean, you can also donate to, to save or kill Sid, so got that going on.
You can make Sid just suffer. Yeah, that's true.
I keep on meaning to do something else, and my memory cursor's in the wrong place.
So yeah, a panda can be nasty because they counter with those drains, especially at lower levels. They're kind of always going to do a decent amount of damage, but I think we have the power, and they'll start doing this stuff too. You can try,
either I'm going to win or a panda's going to win. There's no other way this. Okay, now I actually have the ability to input again.
No, not our MP. What are we gonna do?
We're gonna at least make sure the guy who's normally dead stays alive. That's what I forgot to do. The reason why Lena hadn't been killed as much. I forgot to put Lena at the very beginning of my party. It's the first thing I always do when I open a seed. Well, after I loot Tycoon Castle. So unlike the Pixel Remaster, I can't use the LNR to change the sprites in the overworld. It's actually whoever's in the front. So there's that steamship key we definitely were hinted for, and I absolutely did not forget was hinted for World 2, or Xdef's Castle specifically.
So we have a quick update here from Gungati. So apparently it took the wrong donation window, and they do like dogs. Can they get $10 to kill Sid, $10 to naming Benjamin Sid Sucks, same run, and $20 to the doggos? Thank you very much.
I mean, yeah.
That works.
This spot can be kind of spicy sometimes.
Yeah, this has a much higher HP than anything else in World 2. It happens to be more Gilgamesh, which is not at all what I want to see here,
Right,
honestly.
yeah.
Gilgamesh 2, I think, is actually the hardest Gilgamesh fight in the game. It is very, very aggressive once it gets halfway down its health. And 32,000 is a lot to chew through.
Yeah, especially when that back half is buffed up.
Yeah, so
And
normally
jumping.
you'd have like a wait or try to mute or something like that. We don't have any of that. So we're just going to let
okay.
the Berserker do Berserker things. And we're not going to play the game. I got a question for you on the X stuff coming up. Should I preemptively put my Berserker in the back row?
Oh, expecting a dynamo to happen.
I think I should.
Probably. I don't think there's a right move. I think if like, yeah, it's gonna happen at some point.
So Gilgamesh 2 at this spot has absolutely decided full-on tournaments before, because this spot is so just not a fun spot to fight this. Some people will just decide never to fight this boss or reset and never come back, and it has occasionally held some very important items. But we have a lot, well, we had a lot of HP, but luckily we got through Gilgamesh, as in our two Berserkers got through Gilgamesh.
Greg's got urgent business. They need to go make a donation real quick. And
Yep. And absolutely worthless. Beautiful. Let's
nice.
Speaking of donation, do we have time for a quick one?
go. Go ahead.
Wonderful. We have a $50 donation from M2. Great FF5 run, and I love the FF6 hype. We got to make other FFs much harder to compete. So we have $25 to remove the Black Mage and $25 to force the White Mage in Final Fantasy I Rando. I know some of us will like that.
Now, white mages are really powerful and good, right? Like,
The White Mage saved the day earlier.
White Mage did
I
save the
know,
day.
I saw
earlier.
I mean, I
Seems
saw that
like-
Life 2 cast out in the Kraken too.
Yeah. Sometimes they provide ample value.
in my playthroughs that life is a very powerful spell. And every time I do, you know, that final gauntlet without it, I have one character going into chaos, and that doesn't work. I've learned.
So turn 2 is when XF has the ability to use Dynamo. That is what I'm hoping for. We're going to use Vitality Song just to get some regen ticks. If XF doesn't use Dynamo here, I'd probably just reset because it's going to be faster than whittling through half damage here.
There we go.
And it hit all of them.
Oh no, they moved the arc.
And why not?
Here we go. Now we just let him cook.
May have been worthwhile putting the Flame Shield on Galuf here, would have made it safe, but eh. We got the regen ticks. So you're gonna start seeing the regen numbers go much, much higher.
Ow. So eventually we'll get into like the back, was it the last 10k of X-Death where they start taking like 2 turns?
It's
Sometimes.
half, so at 16,000.
Okay.
We gotta get there first. There we go. Thank you for finally hitting.
Looks like Gallup leads.
Now Lena's gonna take a short nap here as she's been missing her nap time, the seed. And Kadem hit her, so... You know, sort of the wall ring was on just in case we started getting Fire 3s thrown out. Didn't matter, because Galuf did hit when it eventually mattered. So yeah, this is basically the big number seed. That's what Berserker gives to you. You know, I think we might have the power to do it. Should I go try?
Yeah.
All right.
Omni needs to pay for...
I wasn't even thinking about Omni.
Oh.
There is a reason why I actually do want to get rid of this Go-Go, and that's the 200 job points that it gives.
Oh, Go-Go also needs... Well, they were really just defending themselves, but we're going to go teach them how to Berserk, and that'll be better for them overall.
Yeah, we got running shoes on you. You should be taking the first shot anyways. We may even be able to survive one rock this time.
Yeah, if they get spread out or...
I mean,
Low roll.
there's still 12 that come down apparently, so...
Yeah, 3 probably not going to live through.
No, I'd be surprised. I don't think there was anything in these chests. I'm just muscle memorying it.
Yeah, Gaia Gear is nice if we hadn't... Well, we have enough hit points to survive some Titan shenanigans now, so it's not so much a thing. Alright, we learned our lesson. We're just gonna not do any inputs, and it'll be fine, right?
Yeah, I hope Ferris didn't just get a turn before Galuf did, though. Let's just get lucky. That's never gone wrong for me in the past 24 hours. Or
It's always the best to be lucky. And if you
Good
can't
job.
be lucky, good miss there. Save often if you can't be lucky.
Oh, I had to get lucky. That was not doing nearly the amount of damage I thought. We got this. Did I save?
Can confirm, yes.
Okay.
I mean,
I could not confirm, so I'm glad we had. Oh no, doubles.
Oh well. We will not come back to that until I get told to. It was worth a try. I really wanted that X fight, but we'll get it some other way. Okay, we did save. Cool. Thank you for confirming that. Now I've gotten more confirmation. All right, but we've been holding off too much on this. We do have access to our lovely Mirage Village, where there are a number of really high-tier shops. More importantly to that, there is the final piano of the game. There's our speed song. Alright, we're good. We've officially gotten our complete setup for beating the game. So I guess what we're looking for is maybe running shoes in a shop, but that's unlikely given that we saw one in Kusa Castle. But you never know. Look at all these flame rods in World 3. No. Well, you know what? Sure. What else am I spending the money on? Angel rings? Have you ever actually equipped an angel ring in your life? On purpose?
No, yeah, not on purpose, no. Just 'cause I feel like every now and then, but usually they're worth so much money that they just get turned into breakable rods or throwables or just money to throw at enemies.
I'm pretty
Falls in
sure
World 1.
none of that. Well, maybe no Mirage Vest for us. So yeah, Falls in World 1. We haven't gotten that yet, but we did get North Mountain 1, which had the bracelet. So that may be referring to the Bahamut spot. But we're gonna prove our mastery of the piano for one final time this run. Well, a little bit more. Do one last piano flex.
Flex high.
All right, that's career day. We won. Congratulations, everyone. Now we're going to do a little bonus content, a little DLC, which is going to the void and doing all that stuff. But
Maybe a little Phoenix Tower, except I don't think I can get into Phoenix Tower in this one.
That's
So-
about hour 10 piano percent.
We're gonna change this into Super Mario World in a second.
Gonna have PTSD for a while.
We got time for a quick little update.
Yeah.
All right, so once again, everybody, we are here this weekend for Final Fantasy Randomizer 2025 Summer Marathon in support of the Liam Foundation, whose mission is to encourage, assist, heal, and empower our LGBTQIA+ community through respect, advocacy, and passionate hearts to promote thriving in society. They've been active since 2015 and were designated nonprofit in 2020. So all the donations that we get this weekend will all go straight to the Liam Foundation. We're very happy to be partnering with them again. Most of the incentives that we have coming up have been met or in some cases exceeded, but we do have the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night randomizer going on later on. Upgrade to Max Rando, 40 of the $80 met, and there's still nothing on the file name bid war. So, you know, the world is your oyster. Name it what you will. Thank you, everybody, and have a great weekend.
yeah, these triplets normally kind of a problem, but
You know, I seem to remember something. Well, no, I could just use Requiem.
because we got another sort of get us all at once gimmick going on here.
Yeah, 16,000 HP each. And it'll do stuff like this. Which, I mean, a flame shield helps. But yeah, that's kind of a def, isn't it? I do believe I saw elixirs, I think, in Karnak. So they're undead, which means if I throw an elixir at them, they'll go down to critical HP and I can get rid of them that way. The only issue is kind of getting enough actions for that. We could definitely beat Omni now, though. Well, that's a little bit trickier. Maybe not exactly. We can go up to Flying Locker Ruins. I hadn't done that yet, and that might be worthwhile. I'll probably do that.
Yeah, we have that, and we have the long steamship trip. Yeah, plenty of cash.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Well, if we have to go back up to triplets, we'll be able to deal with them quite quickly. So yeah, let's go up to Flying Wonka Ruins. We got 11,500 HP here, and then a small little dungeon to go through. It's amazing how much faster games are when you don't have random encounters. This is unpleasant.
Yeah, we don't.
I mean, this can work, except
I mean, we could run him out of.
we can run a MP, or we could just no, that would be another one where I'd want to kill the Berserker, or give the Berserker like a knife. That might work.
Just little.
I sold all the knives. Let's
Little
not
plank
worry about
knife.
that. You don't have terrain, and whatever. Let's go ahead and do this.
So yeah, those bosses, if they're not muted or defeated all at once, will cast life 2 and revive everyone else every time one of them goes down.
There we go.
So we're trying to maximize, I think, that AoE damage, and also
Minimize the Berserker damage at the same time.
we haven't found a magic lamp yet.
Nope.
That would be a nice thing to have.
You know, it would also
kicking
help if
around.
I removed the running shoes from our good old Berserker here. That's what I was afraid of. Berserker hit literally anything that isn't that bottom.
What are you doing, my guy? He didn't listen. He's too angry to follow directions.
Classic 1 out of 6.
100% of the time.
Give me the running shoes for a second. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled Golf destroys the world out of anger for not being able to see the end game in a moment. You have magic? Alright, that should do it.
There you go.
Yeah, you can also see the difference an air knife makes for this as well. Getting that bonus damage from terrain is huge. That's going to be the case as well for Neo X stuff. So there is a tablet there, so we were very much required to get through Poroboros. Oh yeah, we hadn't actually beat the catapult yet, so we get this little cutscene that you normally don't see.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a first for me.
Yeah, the game's not going to be bugged out at all, right? Don't worry about it. It's very unlikely we find anything of use in Flying Wonka Ruins as an early game. We also have the steamship that I will continue to forget that we have. Why some people run a tracker. There are plenty of reasons to run a tracker. There's a nice little cheat sheet on the boss weaknesses as well in one of the 2 tracker packs. So anyone who's actually learning Career Day or even just learning Final Fantasy V Vanilla, it's a very useful resource to go into and see what bosses are weak to what statuses can be inflicted. Oddly enough, one of the things that can confuse a whole bunch of people, we're actually just gonna, I can't use the Aegis Shield because that gives you bonus magic. Well, I can, well, here. Thornlit, that's fine. I want you back in Hunter. So you repeal, sing. I love it when I have to like reorganize my entire party, being
Just
like,
for
what
one
was I
boss."
doing? And it can take a long time.
Yeah, Career Day is definitely a game where, like, knowledge of those boss weaknesses, their status weaknesses, is huge. And I certainly appreciate it when I was learning, like, the tracker. And there's a lot of, I think, good resources the community have put out there. Because, you know, again, didn't play the vanilla game, so I didn't know any of that stuff. But there's a really nice infographic that just, it's like, here's all the bosses, their levels. So if you got Blue Mage, you know the math to work on. Liquid Flame, kind of annoying.
Yeah, not great. I'm just gonna do this. So normally you're able to instant death this. We don't really have that ability right now, so we're just gonna go ahead and might heal for itself a little bit. That's fine. I'm gonna Fire 2 counter here, or Magnet Fire 2 next. But yeah, only, what, 8100 HP, I believe, or 8000, something like that. So it should... you know, I never moved my Berserker... Why couldn't you have magneted Galuf?
Yeah.
Game should just make up for my mistakes. Come on. Don't worry, we got an angry Ferris who's going to be able to do all this. And, yeah, okay. Sure. So, each of these forms will have a different counter once hit. So this will cause flame, but also killing it generally works. So
Nice.
Another Mirage Vest.
Well,
I don't know where I'm putting that one.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was putting the first. I mean, here you have it. How about I bring you to the front row? I don't have to go and pick up the Earth Crystal. Maybe save the world a little bit of trouble. But we'll see what these give. Giant's Glove again. Okay. So we could get 2 Thornlets and 2 Giant's Gloves. That is definitely a way to underflow a couple people. But I'm really hoping to get X-Fight on my Hunter at some point here. We're going to go back into World 1. We're going to do early game check. That is not the catapult. And we are going to go into the steamship. Which, if you have random encounters on, takes quite a while to get through. It's very annoying. Thankfully, the randomizer, we don't have random encounters. We can turn them on, despite my failure to earlier. But otherwise, this is a lot faster, not just because of movement speed.
True. I mean, I don't know a lot about steamship engineering, but it seems like there's a lot to do to get to the engine room, and that feels like a little bit of like maybe a design flaw, that you have to climb through all of these vents and take a bunch of elevators and move platforms and fall down pits. This in particular is
how many OSHA violations are being, are in one room here?
Who came up with this?
I mean, thankfully they do have an escape a little bit. You have to climb over some ductwork to get into Karnak, but it does connect there for now.
Do we have time for a quick donation update?
Go ahead.
So we have an $88 donation from Dryzalizer. Thank you, Fiery Blizzard, for all 8 piano flexes and ticking all 88 ivories. Thank you very much.
Dryzalizer is one of the most knowledgeable people in our communities, I would say. Definitely more knowledgeable than I am about this game. But is very much a resource, and definitely thanks to him for a lot of the work that he has done for the community.
This is a boss we love to see here early and not somewhere else later.
Yep. 3,000 split. We are gonna eat an arrow, probably. Maybe not. Gelf said, I don't like these things. It makes sense. I mean, look, if you know the vanilla story, you fight this boss, Gelf, even when he's dead, tries to fight X-Def, you throw a Phoenix down on him when you have a bone mail, and then he dies. That's how this game works. But yeah, I mean, normally, that would be the boss. You go into a cutscene, and suddenly you have Kara, or Kryl. Gelf is not dead. Lena is still not at the front of my party. Can I just fix that? There we go. We finally have things corrected. So there are 3 monsters in a box here. Now, if you play vanilla, you're probably like, wait, 3? Aren't there 12? Thankfully, no. Just 3. They have generally higher tier items, highest tier items in World 1. So I am looking for them. There's a chance there could be a second pair of running shoes or something like that. And, a second pair of running shoes, even with Speed Song, will go a long way.
Yeah, haste is just that good in Final Fantasy V.
Do we have time for another quick donation update?
Yeah.
We have a $50 donation from Razor1, heart emoji. Thank you for being awesome. And incentives go $40 to Max Rando for Bloodstain, which should complete that. And then the remainder to the NPCs for doggos for Dragon Warrior 2.
Nice. Excellent.
Ah, there we go. There's the other running shoes.
We've summoned them.
I should probably put them on my bard.
Angry speed.
I'm just invested in getting my berserkers as many turns as possible, even though that's not actually the most efficient strategy here.
Because does haste increase how fast their songs work?
I believe it does, yeah, because it's an ATB tech thing. That's why Speed Song is also so good as well. Okay, there's like 50 reasons why Speed Song is good. Turns out getting more actions than the enemy is generally a good way to win things.
I guess.
That's why Go-Go wins, right? I mean, I get 1 action, he gets 12.
That's true.
How am I supposed to compete with that? And again, where did that skill go? Like, why is he not that way in Final Fantasy VI?
It's because, I think,
Is it X-Test fault?
disrespect or something, yeah. The cleft of dimension drains power.
I mean, he just kind of sticks in Zone Eater, which, I don't know. I hate that place.
Yeah,
I don't know why he willingly goes there. It's a very, very weird character.
Indeed.
Alright, we found the 3 monsters in a box, so we can just get out of here.
We got time for another quick donation.
Do it.
So we have a $30 donation from Destiny of a Dragon Warrior for Dragon Warrior 2 name Bid Wars. $10 to the hero's name Angel IFM, $10 for the prince name as Muffins, and $10 for the princess's name of Artorias.
I see what it did.
Nice.
So we did get our rapid fire X fight. We're still looking for one more tablet. So I guess we dig a little bit around in World 3. We got a couple things there. That's going to give us our trench page, which should give us... man, we still don't have any good bows. Give us access to a couple more shops. Don't have too much left. I mean, we have a couple of things left in terms of like, oh, we have an Omniscient and Catapult that we might be able to do enough damage for now. We have, which would open us Lanka Meteor. We have Go-Go in Moogle Waterway, which, yeah, we've seen how that has gone.
Right.
Free when I decide I want to kill off my Berserker, which I just haven't. But we will take Boko on a walk here. Boko, I believe, is the best Chocobo in Final Fantasy. Really does a lot. Also really fun in World of Final Fantasy as well. We're not going to go to the waterfall. We're not going to grab the magic lamp location. Maybe we'll run into the magic lamp. It's not really necessary for this party. Unfortunately, Boko does not avoid pitfalls. So, do get to skip a little bit of cutscenes here, but here's the Antlion. Probably not actually Antlion. I was hoping that would then be Antlion, just to prove me wrong. I like how Ferris has taken 2 turns before anyone else has even gotten anything.
That's true. And we are strong, Ifrit. We'll not go to your library because
you are dead and useless.
Yeah. And we know Desert is dead too.
There's the trench page. So we got one more open check in World 3 before that trench page became useful. So we'll go to the other free one and then handle that trench. A bit of weird ordering there, but 17,000 HP is a little bit easier than the possible 40,000 down in trench that I might not want to do. So let's just get a
Yeah, there's still some bad bosses in the pool. We knocked out a couple. We know where Omni is.
One day I will not hold up in this transition.
What's it gonna be? I think number 3.
I think it's this one. Ah, 4. So you do have to wait. As long as it's not like number 8, you're fine. Yeah, we're gonna go to the Odin spot. Thankfully, there is no timer for this spot, so it's not, you have 1 minute to kill whatever is here, which can be very rude.
Okay.
Alright, so if anyone likes to taste of frogs, you'll see some frogs on screen for a little bit. Luckily, I apparently have 22 middens because
Wow.
nice crit. Hallie doesn't really have the ability to kill more than one person at a time, which is nice for the boss that is technically 2 bosses before the end of the game. And it's just warming you up for Twintania and all the shenanigans you should be doing for Twintania,
Yeah.
not dying there. So this is sort of a breather in the void. Again, I think I'm just preparing people for the Umaro simulator.
Yeah. It's really showing off. Berserk. We haven't figured out a way to, you know, underflow the Yeti's stats to turn them into.
Alright, so I think it's trench time. Why do I feel like this trench is going to give us the Elder Branch, which is going to lead us into more forest, which is going to lead us to Fork?
Yes.
The only reason why I'm thinking that's not the case is I had 2 seeds vetted. One of them was the fast seed, one of them was the not fast and terrible seed, and I chose the fast seed given the scheduling. So I expect this not to have Fork Tower required, but it would be a fun joke if...
It could be Fork and then just a couple pushovers up there.
Yeah. I'm going to play it as if I didn't have sort of that particular information. Well, if there's any reason to have an Aegis Shield, it's this. At the same time, Shoat is susceptible to Stop. Love Song, thankfully, casts Stop. Otherwise, every single time we hit Shoat, Shoat would counter with Demon Eye, which casts Stone. So the Aegis Shield is nice because it prevents Stone on the character, and we're actually going to use that quite heavily in Neo X or in X Death. Now, if Shoat isn't stopped, we are going to see 2 Demon Eyes come out here. So there is a flag in this game known as heavy or non-heavy. If a boss is heavy, that means that statuses do not last nearly as long as they would if they are non-heavy. It also plays into some instant death shenanigans as well. So Shoat is a heavy boss. So the stop only lasts for about a second or 2.
We have a comment from chat here that if ROM vetted this, you know that Fork is required.
No, if ROM generated this without seeing it, then I would know Fork is required. ROM did not generate the seed. I will thank Lily Spikes for generating the seed and vetting this for me.
Would also like to point out real quick that we have met the incentive for the Bloodstained Max Rando for later on tonight. That should be a lot of fun. And I'm pretty sure we have also met the incentive for Dragon Warrior 2 NPCs All Doggos. So all the dogs tonight. Very exciting. Thank you.
I know a few people that are excited for that one.
Yeah, the Fork Tower, I guess we brought it up. It's your classic, gotta split the party in half dungeon and fight 2 bosses at the top with half your squad.
That's the one I don't have.
Okay.
So I'm in the right place. That was all useless.
Classic dwarfs. They're a little behind the times because they live in a trench under the sea. And
All right.
news, it's a little slow to get down there.
So we did actually pick up a couple. We see the air knives in shops, and again, that's going to be huge for our end game here, which we're pretty much approaching. Just the ability to boost that wind slash damage. When we get to Neo X stuff, you are going to maybe see that final boss for 25-30 seconds, maybe. So that's a lot of how Career Day goes outside of 4 jobs. If you play like a standard setting, you will more than likely find Samurai or another or Summoner with Summon 5 and Sildra. We just saw Sildra in the shop. It essentially means that the final boss is trivial, unfortunately. When you do not have those tools like you would in a random 4-job setting, it very much is the opposite.
Yeah.
Where instead of you're holding A for about a minute and a half, you're now trying to keep track of 4 different parts that have vastly different amounts of HP. Well, 5,000 split or 5,000 difference between the front, the back, and the two middle sections. And you're doing that for probably 20 plus minutes, which is can definitely be a large challenge. But it's fun.
Yeah.
I think Neo X stuff for me in some 4 jobs compositions is much more difficult than, say, climbing Kefka, the multi-part boss that is the Kefka climb, because it's somehow less to keep track of.
It's just so much hit points to get through, and all those parts of Neo X stuff are doing bad stuff.
Yeah, there is nothing equivalent in Final Fantasy VI, in Tier 2 that is equivalent to Almagest.
Yeah.
And Almagest is a straight out, if you do not defeat Almagest in time, it's an HP check. If you have over 1650 or an Aegis, if you don't have over 1650 or an Aegis Shield, you are going to die to Almagest. And certain party compositions, you will have nobody over that threshold.
Yeah.
And it's a question of how do you do 55,000 damage to one part while not also getting completely destroyed by the rest of the boss. Fortunately, we saw that vampire come in.
Yeah, a little rude there.
I'm surprised this Golem has enough HP. Dolph is not helping the cause here. So this is essentially a free boss unless Golem dies before Zombie Dragon dies.
Which
seems to,
might see
I'm not
it.
going to say it's not going to happen. But even then, it's pretty free. We did see that the second tablet, which is the last tablet that we're looking for in this game, is somewhere in this world, so there's no reason not to fight this boss. Other checks that we have the Sunken Waltz, so that's where Go-Go normally is.
Mm-hmm.
That has 48,000 HP. We also have those triplets of Bahamut.
Yes. And we have
the elixirs.
Falls page.
And we have Falls page. So the only thing we're actually missing is the Shrine page.
Shrine page, the Blessed Branch.
Yeah, and the... I'm not gonna say anything about Fork Tower. Golem is doing... I don't know why Golem is thanking our party. Like, none of that makes sense.
I don't know if it helps that much, but... Thanks for hitting me only half of the time.
Well, we know that's completely useless. Libraries are dead. Probably deserve that. Alright, so let's go to Sunken Walls. That's sort of the fastest of the World 3 checks that we have.
Yeah, I was going to ask, when you're hunting for, like, one more item, are we really just looking at, like, what's the fastest to get in and beat a boss and see if we can get what we're looking for? We know it's in World 3.
Yeah, that would be... it's great if I've played this game recently and I knew where Sunken Walls was. But, yeah, it's really just one of the fastest checks I have available. I have a preference for Sunken Walls. I've won more matches than not by checking this earlier.
It is kind of out of the way. There's no loot in here, but in terms of quickness to run in and get the boss, what is faster than...
in World 3?
Yeah.
Boko might be a little bit faster. Boko's certainly a lot easier.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
check. I mean, technically if there are 2 free bosses in Fork Tower, that's faster per check.
I guess.
But...
But that's pretty rare.
Yes. We got a number of free bosses left, though. I'm just assuming the Stalkers. Nope, this is actually somehow worse. So, good news, this is not in the Void. In which case we'd be seeing Holies and Flares coming out for more damage than health than I have. I believe... Actually, no, this might... Is this Holy and Flare in this spot? Please don't be.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out real fast.
Seeing a lot of eeks and ews in the chat. A lot of love for Necro out there.
No, okay, this is much easier. So, we got these 4 barriers that are, thankfully, not in the Void. And we got Necro here, who will open up with essentially Flash. So we gotta get rid of the barriers first. I am not going to essentially relinquish control of both of my bards here, simply because we're gonna need somebody to use an eye drop once the barriers go down. We do have, unfortunately, the timer as well. So that does play a role here. There is a trick you can do. If the timer runs out during the fight, you can very, very quickly mash the menu button to get into the menu and warp shard out rather than game overing.
How many hit points do those barriers have?
It is 1/5 of the total spot, so we're still talking about 10,000. You know what? Let's go Vitality here. Yes, this is a very unfortunate spot to have a Necrophobe, but if I was going to see Necro anywhere in World 3 or in World 4 or in the Void, this is not the worst spot. I mean, I guess, okay. It's the worst spot in World 3 that is not the Void.
Yeah, but if those were tier 3 spells or the Holy Flares, it would be much, much worse. And party members would be dropping pretty quickly with that tier of magic going out, but...
I'm just gonna aim here. Why do I think I'm just gonna need to do a speed song? Okay. This is one of those bosses where you see, if you're in a race and you see this boss, you're just resetting and never coming back to it. Although with that hint, it's really difficult to figure that out.
We know that tablet is in this world somewhere.
Galuf is just not helping his case.
Yeah, a lot of back row hits, a lot of necro hits. There we go.
There we go. And then after we do all this, we're still going to have to deal with 48,000 HP of Necro, who is going to hit very hard and twice. And honestly, seeing these spells is not helping either. It's time. It's a lot of time wasted.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that time.
Yeah, especially if Galuf doesn't start chopping some front row barriers.
That's why I had to put on the speed song. I think it's actually going to be necessary to kill this in time. But yeah, just a reflect animation just takes so long.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Would you like to have less HP? Alright. So we got 2 minutes to kill Necro. That is, So Necro is immune. We're gonna want eye drop. So it's also worth noting, if we had not killed Gilgamesh 4, this would be very unfortunate.
Because they would show up here and there's a whole cutscene, right? And does the
Yeah.
clock run the entire time that that's going on? Oh
Yeah.
wow! Wow.
That would be 5 minutes of a cutscene that we do not have 5 minutes for. So it's very unlikely, I would think, that this is actually our way through. But we're here. We might as well provide some content and we'll see what happens.
chipping down.
I don't think I can really have the time
There
to
we
use
go.
X-Fight. I think I just need to essentially let this happen. So you can see that I'm switching stuff in my inventory. That's just to refresh the Mirage status. I just then need to take an action afterwards to refresh it. We are actually just going to go ahead... You know what? No, you're dead. Oh, yeah. I was like, wait a minute, you have the Thornlet on. This is a problem.
Gets back up, chops hard. Oh, the speed up.
Yeah, how many times have you heard that?
I've never have heard that.
That should do it. It's like, Necro,
That's
please talk faster.
Anxiety-inducing right there. Like, it's real fast.
And remember, this is normally a spot where you're fighting Go-Go.
Right. And
You've done something wrong to even hear that part. Yeah, I figured that was not going to be worth anything, but...
Earth Hammer.
Yeah, so we had 30 seconds left for an Earth Hammer. Okay, so we got Falls. Let's go. I'd rather go Falls than that triplet.
Do we have time for a quick donation update?
We just had plenty of time.
I didn't want to interrupt the wonderful boss battle we had going on, so we have a $20 donation from Code Gorilla. This donation is on Mashima's behalf. He knows why. Put this toward Water Sword Blizzard Bracelet in the Tower of Crystallis Wham race. Thank you very much. 2-0. Oh boy.
Wait, there is something I need to check. I don't know... First off, here's Greg. Greg is going to go down significantly faster than Necro just did. And he's done. So, Gilgamesh won. If you remember, I said his spot in Vanilla had 11,500 HP. Greg has a script where if he falls like at 90 some odd percent HP, he runs away. So that's, despite the boss having 10,000 HP, we just need to do 1,000 damage.
Greg is very busy and always has seemingly stuff to do elsewhere, so...
So was that our last Greg?
I think yeah, all four.
Yeah. Okay, well, good news, we saw all the Gregs. Bad news, there's no more Battle of the Big Bridge unless we happen to get the Big Bridge key, and that is somehow in our path.
Should it be... I guess it could be still, but it would probably not.
It would require the Shrine Page or the Fork Tower to be required, so let's hope not. I don't, again, maybe I buy more elixirs or something. I don't know. Okay, let's just, wait, I still don't have a good bow, despite that not really be worth anything. That's impressive. Normally this randomizer loves to give you Artemis bows and Yoichi bows.
Right.
And the fact that I legitimately have 0 of them at this point is unusual.
And we've shopped till we've dropped and still not found them.
Alright. I'm not going to go in the next room. I'm just going to go this way. Now, unlike Vanilla, we do actually have to fight the Leviathan spot to get the item. We can't just grab the tablet and leave. So, in fact, the tablet gives us absolutely nothing. We are going to walk up. Leviathan appears.
Oh no, I hope it's not really Leviathan.
That would be unfortunate.
Ugh.
That would be unfortunate. So I really shouldn't be using X-Fight against Minnow at all. This
They
is a
counter
terrible idea.
Multiple times per hit. Yes.
Yeah, so welcome to Minnow. We can't even sing, so we just let... Yeah, we're just gonna let our Berserker do something. And basically pick things up as they die. Where are my Phoenix Downs? So I normally lose track of where Phoenix Downs are in my inventory, or where they are in a shop. So I'm glad I bought 40 of them.
Yeah, that's something I'm always like, oh, I'll remember that. And then I'm heading into the void, and I'm like, oh no, where were they again?
Really, I just was about to refresh that Mirage Vest. So we got 40,000 HP in Minnow, and unlike Vanilla, where the gimmick is you kill Minnow, he tries to cast Holy, the ultimate, white magic, and fails because he has no MP whatsoever. He does have MP here. So I need at least another character alive, other than Galuf. Although Galuf would probably still survive a Holy, there's no weakness on him at this point. So yeah, this is just about maintaining enough characters to get through this fight. And letting the Berserker, again, who has, I would argue, been the most useful job in this entire 4 job.
Yeah, I mean, the Bard is making stuff happen, but not directly, right?
I mean, we're going to, basically celebrate our Berserker at the end of the seed by killing him off before he fight X.
He gets a
finish
nap early, yeah.
Yeah, he gets a nap. So here's Holy.
The power.
We are actually going to see its power here. Lena, like I said, I brought Lena to the front of my party, so of course she's the one who gets targeted. Was this useless? Yes, it was useless. Alright, so I guess we're going to those triplets.
Yeah.
We got time for another quick donation update?
Yeah.
We sure do.
All right, so we got a bit of a battle going on here. M2 says, $50 donation, code Gorilla. I love you, man, but you're being too cold. Put this to Fire Sword and Crystallis to heat this up. Thank you very much.
That's twice that.
That's really rare. That's marathon luck. Normally that villager
Goes down.
is like, they go down and it's pretty tight to get by them.
It's a, did you remember to hold B leaving the door before check?
But today they are just kind of wandering every which way but down.
Yeah, that's unusual. So we do have those 3 elixirs, or the 5 elixirs I bought, so we're going to use them here. The best way to kill something is to not deal with it. So what we're actually going to do, so the triplets fight is nice because if they revive a triplet, it comes back with the HP of the triplet that revived. So if I throw an elixir at all 3 of them and they revive, they're still at critical HP. So I could do this in a couple ways. I could time it so that the Berserker deals with it, or I could just not care. I'm kind of leaning towards the I just don't care.
I do love that you're dodging the poison flowers.
I just didn't want to heal again. One is going to get poisoned again by the end of the seed.
Do they count as damage floor, or is that
I think they
else?
actually do. I think damage float works, and damage floor I believe also does. So let's go ahead. We can't Phoenix down them, but like I said, we can elixir them. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first turn they'll just do physical attacks. It's the second turn that these things get a little bit more rude. So elixir. I should have elixired with Ferris there and then sing. That was my bad. I was thinking X-Fight. That's a little bit unfortunate. Please don't attack the red one 3 times. Alright, so all but the green one's going to be dead. Galuf, please don't miss. Thank you. Otherwise we'd need a couple of delta attacks.
And
So-
we've sent them into into Doma Dream. There it is.
There
That's
we
our
go.
tablet.
And then they became real boys in Final Fantasy VI, I guess, yeah. So there we go. We have essentially go mode now. All we have to do is run through the boss gauntlet that is the Void. There's no reason for me to heal here. There's another free heal pot literally before I take another fight in the Void. Again, we know Omni, we know Minnow, We have not seen Stalkers.
That's the one. It's probably my least favorite boss gimmick in general, is hit the right part, but there's no way to tell. There have been a couple of recent games that have had that gimmick, but by paying close attention, there actually was like a visual way to see, which I appreciated, but.
So we already found 2 running shoes, so it's not actually... So there are limits to the number of items, or a number of a certain item that you can have in the game if they're placed in treasures rather than shops. So there is a maximum of 2 running shoes you can get in a seed. I also have air knives, so... Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I'm opening those boxes for, so let's just not.
I had a quick little update on the situation of the standing right now. So with that last update from M2, we have now crested $1,500 total donations for the marathon so far this weekend. We are $150. Thank you, everyone. We are $150 away from surpassing day 1 of Marathon Summer 2023 and about $200 or so away from Winter Marathon 2023 day 1 totals. So thank you so very much, everybody, for the contributions. Again, we are here in support of the Liam Foundation. They are a... I just want to get the exact statement right. They are one of our partners that we really enjoy working with. They encourage, assist, heal, and empower our LGBTQIA+ community through respect, advocacy, and passionate hearts promote thriving in society. We're very happy to be partnering with them again, and all donations this weekend go to supporting their foundation. Thank you, everybody, and let's continue to have fun now.
I saw in chat a question, have we seen Twintania, Bahamut, or Leviathan? No.
No. The answer to that question is no.
We also haven't seen either Scorpion.
Oh, we got one right
We
here.
got one. There's
And
the
then-
other one. There's the lesser panda.
And we haven't seen Sandworm.
No worm. Ugh. We wouldn't want to see worms. The mucus.
If I had a killer bow, I do have a killer bow. I could try to kill it by that, I guess. Killer bow, where are you? I know I didn't sell it. Also, I just noticed something in my the inventory there. It's like, oh, I have a free air knife that is doing literally nothing, or running shoes that's doing nothing because the game decides that running shoes are a terrible accessory. The game optimized feature prefers leather shoes over running shoes. So just don't trust the optimization function. We did get terrain there. That's the only reason why I switched over to Geomancer. So like I said, we can pet the robot. I could have actually checked what the weaknesses were to see if this was feasible. I'm going to change this back to, I believe, Geo here, to Sing, and then Hunter with X-Fight. Give you more running shoes. So, don't accidentally warp shard me, that would be bad. And we're gonna go, we'll see how quickly we die here. It's not gonna be pretty. Alright, good job.
Nice.
So do we got time for another update right here?
Yeah.
So kind of appropriate with what just happened there, we have another $50 donation from Code Gorilla saying, sorry, I overheat too easily. I'm interested in keeping things cool in the tower. Blizzard bracelet, please.
Okay.
I didn't think I killed my, or I sold my killer bow, so I'm just like, where did that end up?
If anyone sees a loose killer blow, please let us
yeah.
know.
I think all we have is will whiffs in this, so not really worth anything. We can love song. Might as well just stop it.
Chop chop.
Yeah, unfortunately there's no parry mechanism in Final Fantasy V for the Super Nintendo, so we are just kind of stuck with this. kind of parry. I don't think we need to save. Let's just go. I have no idea how we are doing on time, so let's just try to get things on schedule. Right.
You're about under 2 hours, so doing all right.
Okay, yeah. I think this is on schedule for 2:45, so we're good.
We're cruising.
I promised Danny that. We'll grab a box. What's the worst this could be? Oh, this is fine. I mean, it's gonna hit, but... Golura is susceptible to basically everything. And it's not even heavy, so that stop song is going to last for a while. And we just let Galuf...
Let him cook. Let him chop.
Yeah, there's no... If I found where that killer bow went, maybe I use X-Fight. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just going to let Galuf do its thing.
Because this isn't even hero song boosted damage at this point. He's just... That's just his raw magic power and levels unleashed.
Yep. So we are going to tent here. So we do get a save point here. There is no actual other progression. There are the rainbow dress and the red shoe chests here. The only reason you would ever get those chests is if you're playing an archipelago game and that happens to be an important item.
Even then, I'm like, let me hit for my last tablet, and I'll just release it that way. I keep reminding myself, I was like, I want to exclude those.
The corner
the
jar one is
pool.
the one that I always
That
exclude.
one I have out. But yeah, those two is still like to pop someone else's important progression from time to time.
So Shiva can't be stopped, and the way that her script works is she goes by rows, but at least the 3 commanders can be. This just isn't worthwhile for the damage that I'm getting for it.
Yeah, if we had one of those legendary bows, it might be a little bit more balanced out, but
Yeah, the Avis killer is just not doing enough damage. I just don't want to starting to get hit by the soldiers up here, 'cause that's where it's going to start to really hurt. Okay, one of them's down. Shiva has 20,000 HP here. This really shouldn't be taking that long. Snowstorm. Golf can survive one more. Well, Golf will not survive one more of those because his HP sap will cause issues. Grab that. Make sure the soldier is still stopped. And after this, we got 2 more bosses unless I decide I want to take on the Necrophobe spot. Wow, that is exact damage. I was looking at the damage beforehand. I was like, there's no way.
oh, if there's a way to take Lena down,
Oh yeah,
Career
I think I
day
did
will find it.
408 before, so I was like, oh, 435 is fine. Okay. Oh,
wow.
just Shiva left. If this doesn't work, or this doesn't kill, then Goluf just needs to not miss 3 times in a row.
Nice.
He did not miss. Lena is still dead. Guess we should revive her.
Yeah,
So
we
two-
are getting close to the end. A couple more bosses, and then the big fella.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get a bit scary, though. You mentioned those bosses we hadn't seen yet in terms of Bahamut and Leviathan and Stalkers, and we've gotten to the point where we really do not want to see them. Namely, I would say the Bahamut is actually the worst that we can see. We do have a wall ring to sort of cheese it. Leviathan, we have coil ring, so I'm not too concerned. I mean, I'm concerned right now. In fact, why don't I just go ahead and not spend a lot of time in that fight before I get myself immunity to Aqua Tail, or Tidal Wave. So let's go ahead and grab the coil ring here. Do not give... Yeah, that should be fine. Rather, sorry, you don't get the coral ring. You get the coral ring. And preferably the Mirage Vest. Yep, guard ring.
Yeah, with a little bit of prep, should make that still gonna be tough, but...
Yeah, so Tidal Wave, I'm not using any magic against Leviathan. So thankfully, I'm not going to get the double Tidal Wave encounter. I'll just get entangled instead, and running shoes prevent that. It's the natural tidal waves that can come out that would be an issue. So we're just gonna basically do the same strategy we've been employing for most of this, which is hopefully our birds don't get knocked over.
Boost up and swing.
So there's tidal wave number 1. There's tidal wave number 2. Ooh. There's tidal wave number 3.
Nice.
That shouldn't kill Galoof. Let's just play this safe. I say safe. There's no real such thing as safe here. It's just get lucky, or don't really get unlucky.
Let's get those hits. If we miss too much. Or I guess like a double tail.
Cool.
Nice.
We got time for another quick donation update?
Yeah.
Oh, so we do have a true battle going on here. M2, another $50 donation saying code, please. I'm cold. Put this toward the fire sword.
Quite the battle.
Speaking of that, we got one more battle here as well. There's going to be a little bit of shenanigans. Actually, this switch is fixed now. There's going to be a little bit of shenanigans between this last fight and the fight in Neo X-Def. And I'll explain that after we beat the Twintania spot. But it's basically to set up some protection to White Hole.
Well, hello.
Naturally. So...
I thought this was the easy one.
Same. So... What do we want to do here, besides die a terrible death?
Because we gotta survive 5 turns.
We gotta survive 5 turns, and if that were it, that would be fine.
And then
unfortunately, we got to also survive counters.
Oh, because of our Berserker, yes.
Yeah. So this might take a try or two. And I definitely don't have the... Okay. Do I have... This is where I'd really want that killer bow that I just apparently accidentally sold, I'm guessing? Well, that's gotta be it. So Mind Blast is fine. Wind Slash is fine as well. don't know if this is going to work nearly as well as I'd want it to. I think we're gonna see a Mega Flare come out, which is unfortunate, because that's gonna be about 3,000 damage. So we'll get the charge up for Giga Flare. That's when Twintania is susceptible to instant death. Which, if I had a Killer Bow, I could see about proccing. A Dumax would do the same thing, except I can't equip that except on the Berserker. So, let's just hope Twintania goes down. Or, you know, we just die. It's a little bit rude. Selling that Killer Bow was not a great idea. Let's see, what can we do?
When they're charging up, can they be stopped? Although
Yeah,
they're
they're susceptible to basically
Oh wait, they're not
everything.
heavy in that form though.
Yeah. Which is what I should be doing. Yeah. Okay. We'll do it that way. I just had a singing bard, so I couldn't really do anything about it. I just didn't pick up Ferris. Let me get the cursor out. Yeah, Twintania, when he's charging up for Giga Flare, or when she's really charging up for Giga Flare, is weak to a lot of things. I still want to get Speed Song out. Little Bitsock. So welcome to Twintania actual RNG Fest.
Yeah, those tidal waves are not what we want to see.
Problem is these wind slashes that are about to come out. I got Mind Blast first. Okay, that didn't kill Bart's here. One wind slash, we'll get another. This time I don't have singing bards. So I'm going to put my cursor on Twintania just to see when that phase change. And then stop her. And this is what you do against Omega as well. You have a bard, you just love song Omega until you kill it. Except this time we have a lot more room because Twintania in this form is not heavy, so status actually lasts for a while. And there she goes. So there is a actually, this is pretty convenient, right? Galoof is at low health, which means it's going to be really easy for me to kill off. The other thing I want to... Where this gets awkward is I want Ferris to equip an Aegis shield for a battle. So, what we're going to do here, we're not going to change our party. We are going to put terrain... we're gonna give you Hunter for a second. I don't really care. We're gonna give you Berserker. Don't really care as well. And we're gonna give Ferris an Aegis Shield, which prevents petrification. In Super Nintendo, you only have to be immune to either petrification or instant death to get immunity to White Hole. We also have Bone Mail, which does the same thing. So we're actually gonna give her... Actually, yeah, we could do it that way. Yeah, this is dumb. Let's just go this way. You... Running shoes. Actually, no, we do not want running shoes here. That's fine. Right, and then we can have the bone mail on, running shoes on... Oh, first off, give me Hunter. Hunter, where are you? Terrain. give you the bone mail, which gives ID'd protection. And we're just gonna put the running shoes on you and you. I'm about to heal, so okay, you know what? How do I want to do this? I should just high pot instead. Whatever. We're fine. Everything is fine. So we're gonna get into a fight. There we go. And hopefully run away. This may take a bit. So if I wanted to learn White Wind or Arrow 3 for Blue Mage, this is a great encounter. Unfortunately, all I want to do is just run away. There we are. So, right now, we have instant death protection on our Hunter and petrification protection on our Berserker. And even though I'm going to be doing this, that's still the case. Because for whatever reason, statuses still hold true, or status immunities hold true for one extra fight. I do not know why.
Ooh.
This is just the way it works.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's a way to get white hole protection on more people than you would think. We do not want... That should be fine. But if I get into another battle, then the whole setup is ruined. So right now we should have white hole protection on both our Hunter and our Berserker. That Berserker is going to cause problems. I need to figure something out there.
Take him out before,
Or we could just YOLO it. Should we just do that? I think so. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, there's a lot of things that can happen.
well, we saved, so...
Yeah, we saved. It's fine.
Chat is, of course, cheering for YOLO.
Yeah, we gotta give... I mean, the Berserker has been the star of the show. Right? Let's give the Berserker its credit and have it go into the Neo X-Death fight, or the X-Death fight, not dead. So this is one of those occasions where the X fight, or the X-Death fight, is much more difficult than the Neo X-Death fight. So we're gonna have Speed Song and Hero Song or Magic Song being played, and this is where the Berserker is gonna be a problem, is because we're trying to basically apply 3 buffs with 2 bards. It doesn't really work out too well. But maybe the bard will take a holy in the face.
That would be nice.
And then we have other problems, because X-Death is no longer doing simple things and instead killing us. So X-Death's script here, once you do about 10,000 or so damage, it will start doing more than just white hole and physical attack. So we'll do speed. I'm also going to cast Vitality.
And the Vitality will give us, like, an indicator that we got our levels high enough to move on to the next phase. Because this is really where we try to buff up and hang out in this. Hence the Berserker being a problem, because we don't want them to get the tree below a certain threshold to start doing their bad stuff, or take them out before we've charged up our power. But
yeah, and as you can tell, knocking down our Berserker is probably not going to happen. Unless X-Death does it for us.
And of course, hitting every time now.
So Speed Song is arguably the most important song here. But yeah, this gets a lot scarier with the Berserker active. Because normally this is a fight that you can just wait. And now I can't even wait. I guess I didn't have the Aegis shield equipped on you. Interesting. Okay. Unfortunately, we are now very much in X-Def will want to kill us very quickly phase. So, we don't even really have the chance to heal out of it.
Wow.
There's the Meteor.
Right on target. Too much targeting. Finishing up the singing there with a bonk.
Alright, so this is going to be very interesting because we are not nearly buffed up enough to deal with Almagest. So, we're going to see what happens, and then when I die, we'll do this correctly.
Alright, chat, you're getting what you've asked for.
We need, so in order for this fight to go remotely well, we need Galuf. There are 6 targets on the screen. There are 2 dummy targets and 4 real targets. We need Galuf to target the Almagest part, which is on the bottom right. The thing that looks like a ram's head.
Those are great odds.
Yeah, we had 1 in 6 earlier.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Now, alternatively, I could have just put like a regular knife or something on the Berserker and put it in the background. That probably would have worked too. That was boring. I have knives on, right? Okay. So yeah, when you're fully buffed, those terrains will do 6,000 damage. So you can see the difference here. And, well, you targeted the right one. You just missed. So yeah, there's the Almagest fun.
The shaking means we're about to get baked.
There's a chance we dodge Almagest. It's unlikely, but there's a chance. Okay, we've gotten 0 for 2, and here's the Almagest. Anyone dodge it? Nope. Well, we do have 29 HP left. Well, we had 29 HP left. Now we have 0. So yeah, no, the Berserker is an actual liability here. And unfortunately, that also means, you know what, I don't care about white hole protection. I do not care. We are gonna just give you that. And, have fun. That might do so little damage that we can get through it without having to try to kill a Berserker off. We're gonna hope. I just don't feel like killing off the Berserker because it does take a while with this party.
Yeah.
My mistake was not using high potions to heal.
Oh yeah, on that before
instead
the
of
save.
camping gear, but eh. So yeah, we did lose the white hole protection on our on Ferris, which is unfortunate because yeah, this could actually be problematic. Because we're gonna have 2 bards singing, and Ferris isn't one of them.
We got a comment in chat here from Dryalizer saying, Galuf, your bunga approach has worked so far, but it's time for some finesse. Big number go Ungumbunga.
But Berserker was doing so well for the rest of the seed. He was, what, 95, 98% of our damage? So, you know, you win a lot and you lose a few more, like Go-Go. Alright. Hopefully, that is doing so little damage that I don't have to care.
All right,
to
round
speed.
2.
Now, if I want to take this safe, and maybe I should, I don't actually sing with my second part. Good start. Need high potions. This is why we bought all those softs. Let's go magic song here.
So the idea here is you're just making sure that your Berserker isn't doing enough damage to phase change before you get your buffs off. Is that it? Yes? Yes? I'm asking.
Can't even hear you that well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the question I had was, you put such little damage on the Berserker so that way they don't phase change X death before you're ready with the buffs on the other characters?
Yeah, that's
That was
correct.
the idea? Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because a lot of time with Bard, we want to hang out here, but not put this phase into like the second half of their script, because that's where they'll start. That's why we saw Meteo come out. So we try to hang out and juice up, but as we saw, like Ferris couldn't even hit the Berserker with an arrow. Or I guess they have
A shield.
an air knife and and the shield. So it's like, I like this pivot here. Of course, now Xeth will probably drop Galoof.
Well, we'd hope, but isn't gonna happen. Wonder if I can. Might as well.
Couple offerings.
How much is that doing? Not nearly enough.
You said we're looking for like 6K on those Gale cuts.
Yeah, I mean, I still have to run Hero Song, so.
Sometimes you gotta hit your own bard to stop, to get him to stop singing.
Yep. Let's put back on speed.
Yeah, we're playing it a little safe here to not run 2 songs at once, because then we only have 1 controllable party member.
And if that one controllable party member gets white-holed, we're kind of...
Then we're
in a
hanging
lot of
out until the
trouble.
Berserker can dagger their way through about 30+ thousand hit points.
Well, you'd hope we get, hope we'd get hit.
Yeah, that would probably happen first.
There's the Aegis Shield block.
Well, we had to go off Auto Battler for
This fight.
Geomancy.
Lena. I don't know why I'm expecting anything more from Lena.
Von saying an attack from X-Death would not stop a song.
Yeah, that is a weird quirk on that. It can, when you're dead.
But yeah, an attack that drops a bard will stop a song, but then we gotta get him back up. As we've seen with Lena several times already.
Yeah, but I'm looking at how quickly that ATB is changing over. Because we do need it really fast. Oops.
It's looking pretty quick. That
Yeah.
bar is like 3/4 full.
Yeah, you can get it nearly instant.
So does speed not increase the rate the bar fills up, but decreases the amount of ATB that needs to fill up? That's what it visually looks like, but I'm not sure if like mechanically.
It's essential. I mean, that's kind of the same thing, right? Visually, it comes by just the short, like, you maybe have like 2 or 3 ticks at max speed of ATB to go through. So, I think we're about there. Before. Maybe another couple swings from the Berserker, and then we can work on Hero Song and get this going.
Keeping X-Death nice and healthy. Oh, because the higher speed would affect how fast the hero song works as well.
Yeah, and the white hole took away the reviv. But yeah, you can see this bard going a little bit fast now. So we'll know we're in max level when the revivifies, or the green numbers basically do not change on healing. So that's what we're looking for. So I think the last one was 187. And unfortunately, we don't have access to Time Mage, so we can't slow down X stuff here. But yeah, the amount you heal is related to your level, so just by watching the numbers, you can tell where you are. Although Berserker is acting so much that it's just taking forever.
Yeah, they're doing their part. Tink, tink.
Using all my health potions, just trying to keep X stuff healthy. What is this?
It's 4 job. Weird stuff happens sometimes.
I would like to clarify how much quicker this would be if I just killed off the Berserker immediately.
Yeah, but the people, they want to see the Berserks.
Was that 85? I think that's it. get you out. No, that wasn't. That was 89, wasn't it?
Yes, you are correct.
Dang it, Lena, can you sing faster? I hate how stupid this track can be. This is all just to handle Neo X stuff.
Which, since we got to see the, like, not fully powered up, I think it will demonstrate why it's worth the wait, why it was worth taking away our Rune Axe from the Berserker.
96. It needs to be 96 again. I mean, the Berserker is trying to,
He's gonna get there.
When did Galuf become so quick?
It's getting like double turns.
It's like Go-Go. $105. You can see like the... Should I just go for it at this point? Probably fine, right? Let's not subject this to more singing. That's gonna be later in the marathon.
Yeah. If you thought 60 high potions was enough, it might be. But, yeah, not having a healing job, it definitely taught me spend that money on those Phoenix Downs.
Okay, so we're gonna wait for XF to take a turn that hopefully is in a white hole. Or is a white hole.
We're just gonna let Galuf do this.
Yeah, I'm a bit scared about how...
So fast.
Thank you, Galuf.
Yes! Get in there. That chip damage.
So it is also worth noting that XF has higher defense than Neo X stuff.
So we're gonna see bigger numbers.
Now we can still get meteored at the end of all this, but...
Power.
Yeah, you can see where that ATB bar is for our party. I realize this might be a little bit different than last time.
I got a good feeling.
Yeah. Galuf's gonna bring it home. Now, this is gonna be a really difficult strat for me. All I'm going to do is hold this button, playing on a DualShock 4 controller. Just going to hold the A button and do nothing else. That's how this works, right?
I mean, with all the prep, that's the idea, right? So.
Oh, 100%.
Why?
We'll get one more Neo X stuff entry. Great music, though.
Destiny of a Dragon Warrior wants to see that strat one more time if you can show the camera. Wonderful.
You want to have a good grip so your finger doesn't slip off.
Normally I have a water bottle next to me too, and I'm drinking that
You
as
gotta
well.
hydrate, because holding.
Making sure I have my dot done ready wherever it needs to be. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk a little bit more about Neo X stuff, but the idea is you really don't want one part alive taking an action. The idea is that you have to... You want to kill two parts, or the last two parts, as closely together. Otherwise, you have a berserk phase for the last part in which it can just kill you. And there's nothing you can do about
It
it.
usually does, to be honest. Like, every time I've miscounted the HP, just immediately like Medio.
So yeah, you'll get Almagast and Medio in the same turn, which is just GG's unless the game miscounts. So the front part there, which does physical damage, has 50,000. The two middle parts have 55,000 HP, and the back part has 60,000. So we're at 2 more Gale Cuts to finish this, or maybe 3.
For 2.
Yeah, that should do it unless we rolled. And yeah, that's
Ooh.
it. So that's time.
GG's.
A lot easier when you actually buff up your party, but that is how this team gets away with Neo X-Def, is just terrain spam at the end.
Very nice. Thank you.
Very nice.
So yeah, I do want to thank obviously FFR for holding this marathon and letting me showcase this live and in person in Charleston, West Virginia. And obviously all of you watching in the back as well, I hope you all enjoyed this. I've been Fiery Blizzard. Fitz, you want to give a goodbye and shout out too? Piano flex.
Flex hard.
Flex the pianos as much as possible. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We're going to have a transition period now, and I think what's next? Shadow randomizer? Yep. So we're back in a little bit. Thank you, everybody.